tested it earlier too, so if the sound's fucked up.
Did you hit record?
Yeah.
So you were about to tell me about those presets?
Yeah, I got this preset, bro.
You got a pretty set.
I legit forgot about that.
Really?
Yeah.
It might have been your pre-pro bowls.
Hey, medicine. Which podcast is this?
Wow, what a great time for the music.
I have a lot of stuff prepared. Look at all those windows there. This is pre-production. We got visuals. We planned both podcasts. Whatever podcast this is, I got notes. And I got takes. I don't know. I'm talking like glick.
Oh, I don't know nothing I love more than a take.
Oh, I got some takes.
Oh, let's recategorize things to make them more interesting. They were once called opinions. Now they're called takes.
And let me tell you.
Because we're all adults with no children, and that's how we talk.
Ding, they hot.
What?
Ding, they hot.
Bing.
Hot takes. Ouch.
Ouch.
Ouch. Oh, smack that cat. It's a really good cat.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a really good take.
To the guy who said, hey, get a table, tell it to his cat.
Oh, wait, really? Somebody said to get a table? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was on Twitter.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm going to get a circle table. A circle. Do you like that shape? Is that shape good? No, hold on. I just want to tell you, I am so sorry for the lack of table and that you have to see that.
Whoa. Touch it.
Oh, okay. Hold on. It's closer on the camera. I thought I was.
Couldn't see us jerking each other off if we had a table.
Yeah, and also,
that's what they don't realize. So when we had the table, it was constant hand jobs.
Right. And the cat was up here out of the strike zone. If we jerk it now, the cat's getting struck.
That's why I slapped the cat the one time.
You got to slap that cat.
I was like, God damn, Pat, you just made me come. Wow.
Stanley could feel us getting zooted on a pre-cum, but
oh, Pat, I couldn't have another pre-cum, please.
Yes, we'll get a table for.
damn.
I assume it's so that my cat will be on a better display for you guys and not in the background. Like
Brother, I don't care about no table. All I care about are these takes because
Yeah.
we got the best takes. That's why we do this.
Yeah.
Other people go, hey, I researched a thing slightly and I brought it to a podcast. Well, you can't do it like we do it.
Yeah, and they're like, but it wasn't like these guys do it for.
What?
I thought you were going to say the
attention.
Podcast. No, the podcast we were doing. Oh,
we do it for
Ow.
strangers' attention. Did he just bite you?
He just sat in my lap and then bit my wrist. He literally bit the hand that feeds him. I'm going to kill this cat on tape right now.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Later.
Here's my hot take. Stanley's going to hell.
Yeah. Yeah, right now. It's
So
gonna be
today,
like
I believe we're doing No More Heroes.
okay, I was going to say, because it's a lot like Island of Dr. Monroe with the rabbit, and I just go. And just
Same guy.
throw his ass.
And so I think it's important to say we don't necessarily have a direct mission with every episode of No More Heroes, but I think with watching this movie, we sort of started to ruminate and realize that the main argument that the main thesis of this episode that we're gonna try to get across and convince you of is that Jim Morrison deserved to die.
Yeah, it everything. Yeah, 'twas the Lizard King meant to die. Yes. Spoiler alert.
Now,
yes.
Was his death a net benefit to society? Yes.
Yes.
No argument there. But
Did
still, we need to figure out, did he deserve to die?
Did it help propel the other musicians who rightfully earned the spot in the spotlight that backed him, that were utterly patient with this motherfucker? That like this, I gotta tell you, Andy, another spoiler alert coming in. Ding ding, hot take. I hated this fucking movie.
Well,
fucking.
Can I speak on spoiler alerts?
But it made me hate him more.
Can I speak on spoiler alerts?
Yeah.
Because something funny about this movie, you can't spoil anything.
Yeah.
Because nothing happened.
Nothing happened the whole movie.
Here, do this. Do this real quick. Do this real quick. Everyone watching. Pull up a live video of The Doors and then drink an entire bottle of wine. That's the movie.
That's
the whole movie.
It's like
It's just like, are the Doors playing? No. Well, Jim Morrison's drinking a bunch of whiskey or wine or something. Is Jim Morrison drinking whiskey or wine?
Yeah.
No. Well, the Doors are playing a song.
Is he saying poetry? No. Well, he's writing it.
But this
and
actually,
he's narrating it.
oh boy, is he fat narrating poetry?
Oh, do I love narration of poetry over someone ghostwriting other poetry that is just the worst poetry.
Can I say this though? I did really appreciate this. Gave me the most immense clarity on hippies.
Yes.
And it made me realize why not just hippies, but all, like, people like hippies, but like I guess hippies are arguable. Well, here's the thing about hippies.
Hippies and hippie-like people.
Hippie adjacent people.
Hippie adjacent people.
Well, no, because the reason hippies are one of the worst group of people is because, have you heard the term midwit?
No.
Midwit is like a moderately intelligent person that
instead of a dimwit,
midwit is a moderately intelligent person that, because they subscribe to sort of the common wisdom on everything, they think they're way smarter than everyone else.
Oh, brother, this is
but
Florida
beach bum. In actuality, the midwit is just very good at conforming to social norms.
Yeah.
And mix that with incredibly pretentious energy towards people who they disagree with. And that's at the core essence of a hippie, is peak pretension, utterly devoid of any substance. And that was basically the essence of this movie. That was Jim Morrison, was devoid of all, like, I mean, I will say, the Doors now, it was a collaborative effort. The Doors wrote some amazing songs. Jim Morrison, good singer, but once you sort of take away the pizzazz and the fanfare of everything, real base level, devoid of anything deep as a person, and just just very condescending to all of existence. And it really heightened not just like the problem with hippies, but like, honestly, like, key components of the problems with society.
Yeah, this was a thing where, like, it was the just in general, like, you have to, like, I'm all for altering your mind, brother. Hey, I'm hip. I'm cool. I'm not like this guy who's like, whoa, hippie. I'm cool like you guys. You know what I mean? I get you guys. But also, like, just shut the fuck up. Like, there's so much shit that, like,
just do too much acid and let it fucking make you schizophrenic.
Go do it in the desert. Stop, like, bringing people out in the desert, doing all this other thing. I'll argue to say, like, he's a good singer. Yeah, I guess so. Like, they got some good takes and everything. But if you're, and also I want to point out many inaccuracies. But, like,
I don't mean to cut you off.
What?
That was the most top tier cunty slight.
What?
Where you go, yeah, I'm sure he had some good takes, like, in the booth.
Yeah,
that was brilliant, Pat.
That's what I'm saying. It's because live, it's like he looks like a fucking super high piece of shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, and then also he's just doing. There's so many weird things that, like, he does in general, like, in this movie that I don't know. First of all, I'll say there are already there's footage in the thing. There's apparently very little controversy about this movie. So, like, that's why I think that was another thing that kind of got me pissed off, was like, this is just a bad movie. And like, like, I don't even get to say, like, well, like, the fact that Island of Dr. Moreau came out as good as it did, considering how crazy cunty everybody was. And everybody
how much of a nightmare everyone on the set was.
And I'm like, this is like, it's not the best movie in the world, but this is, like, I liked it. I liked watching it. I did like watching it.
I got exhausted with it, but there was a lot of, like,
I hated
fun shit.
Parts of it, but I wasn't like, there wasn't like
I
the
told
whole
you
time
I
where
went
I'm like,
in.
it wasn't like I gotta tell you, I did not finish the movie.
The Doors, yeah, that was the funniest text you sent me today.
I'm sorry, I could not do it.
Well, that was the text I sent you where I waited till at the very end when Jim Morrison dies in the bathtub.
Yeah.
I screenshot that and I sent it to you and I go, die, hippie, die.
It's like, it's the most sad. That's the best ending ever. But it's also like this was, aside from, like, there's like a memo that I like, I'll just get through the controversy now. The only memo was like, not basically, this is before Dr. Moreau. there was a memo sent out about Val Kilmer to like, don't interact with him too much, don't say these things to him, like address him in character.
Reports. Val Kilmer, gay as fuck.
Yeah, kind of dickhead, method douche. You know what I mean? Like whatever. He's actually on heroin, but like whatever it was like that's basically it. And then like, a lot of like different directors that were considered, but Oliver Stone took it. It was like Scorsese was possible. Francis Ford Coppola, another past alum of the No More Heroes archive of filmography. Which, by the way, you're picking, if we're doing any more movies ever again, you're picking the movies for a while, because I led us here, and I am so fucking sorry. If anybody has been following along at home and watched this movie, maybe you loved it. You said...
See, I have a completely different perspective on all things, because I got to be honest, movie month in general has made me reevaluate my life.
Okay.
And because like just this whole, just being able to... Dude, I've just been having so much fun digging deep into shit and processing it and like critiquing it and shit like that.
Like we were talking in this time frame, we both had watched that robot movie with Eleven from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, Electric State.
Electric State, and both of us were like, "Hey, it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad.
No.
Like it wasn't anything."
But
really.
then it was funny when you watch it. When you watch Electric State, you're like, it's not good, but it's not that bad.
Right.
Then go describe the movie to people.
Yeah.
I did that because after I watched it, I talked to like 3 or 4 people about the movie. Every single time I describe this movie, I go, this movie's actually retarded.
Yeah.
It's actually a really bad movie.
Yeah.
I did a review of it on YouTube on the Big Red in the Morning channel, and I was very fair in the headline of the video, but the more I talked about it, I was like, this is a genuinely dog shit movie.
But this is the movie. Like, if you're going to be a dog shit movie, have the respect for being a fucking hour and a half in and out. I got about an hour and a half in this movie, and I looked at the time thing, and I was like, I swear to God, on my couch, I'm pretty sure by myself. I think Tom was asleep by this point. I went like this, dude, and I fucking just exit. I'm like, I'm gonna take a break.
Well, so
I was like being good. I was doing it ahead of time. I got my notes out, and I'm just watching. And I'm with my notes. I'm like this. I'm like,
I got nothing. Your notes are just you typing out.
I think these are still the credits. I think we're still in the credits. There's just a lot of voiceover and songs.
It's just you. Your notes are just you typing hippie Frieza over and over again.
Basically, yeah. And I'm just like, yeah. So I did research on the production and stuff. So I have that information and like the budget and all that stuff. So you said you finished the film and you did actually.
I did. So okay.
So, yeah. I want you to share the positive.
I enjoyed it, but there's like a huge asterisk next to it.
Okay.
Because I did have the same thing with you when I was watching it. I watched it a little bit. I watched it a little bit last night. But I fell asleep like half hour in, but that's more just because I have like the best couch in fucking Texas.
Yeah.
It's such a good sleeping couch.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I woke up. I finished it today, and so here's the thing: I already got like a 20-30 minute head start, but still, same as you, I get to the hour mark,
and you're like, oh my God, there's how much time left,
dude? I didn't say it out loud, but like I did. I'm like watching it because at about an hour into this movie, you've basically cycled through like we were joking before. They play a show. Now they're getting drunk somewhere. They play another show. Now, like you've cycled through that about 3 times by like an hour in.
Yeah.
And then like so it's an hour in, and I just click it to see the time, and I like in my head I go, "There's another hour and 20 minutes of this."
You panic a little. You're like, "Oh my God!"
And now I respect you for having the confidence to bail. I'm
so sorry. I
no,
feel
like you don't have to apologize.
I failed all the nomos out there. I should have continued the research. Like the worst case scenario.
I'm not judging you, but the way I look at it from reviewing things on a podcast standpoint, because, we're just fat guys in Pat's spare room. There's so many easy things to hit us with to invalidate us.
There's experts.
And there's but I look at it for me where I go, if I finish it, I get to shit on this much more aggressively.
That's why I tapped out. That's what I'm saying. This is as far as I got. My notes as far as I got were like when they introduced Meg Ryan. Also, I was like, oh, Meg Ryan's... now I see how other people saw Meg Ryan. Like in 91 Meg Ryan, I was like, she's pretty cute. But I go, it was Jim Morrison meets her, and her character's name is Pam, which is an amalgamation of a bunch of different women.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I made the note literally. I would just go, the original Jim and Pam. Thank you. So I had to do my Jim take to the camera.
Got him. Actually, speaking about when they met, I was appreciative of that with the movie because I haven't read when I was younger. I would read a lot of musicians' biographies, and the one thing I'd always hate, they'd be like if you were reading something about Jim Morrison, they'd be like, so Jim's parents met, and you're like, can we start at like high school?
Yeah, I don't.
Just start when they bought the guitar.
When did he start doing art stuff?
Because it's all, dude, it's all the same. It's all the same of just like, oh, their
Small
dad,
town.
their
Blah,
dad
blah,
was
blah.
abusive and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's like, can we just?
This is like the Cold Case Files clip that we have.
Yeah.
Like, that thing where we're just like we know that you're sad about your daughter dying. We all know that's not.
You
why
don't
we're
need
here.
to. You don't need to
We get it. Yeah.
reevaluate that for 3 episodes.
They're now, in retrospect, they're trying to the filmmakers or whatever trying to make the get an award or something on top of helping this family.
That apart,
but it's also like come on,
that's what I appreciate about the movie.
He was born
though.
and fucking he saw fucking Nate. That had nothing to do with except for the fact that he saw a dead Native American on the side of the road that was hit by a car.
Well, that had some symbolism because it was like a thing he would go back throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And he had this
peyote
like
in the fucking desert like a dehydrated dickhead.
wait, what?
He was doing peyote in the fucking desert like a dehydrated fuckwad.
Well, that was the thing.
I picked a better word.
He kept going back to like his relationship and love for the Native American as any honky who abuses acid.
Why does he have the love?
I don't know.
Exactly, because they don't explain it in the biopic.
Well, that was a funny part. Too.
I saw a dead Native American, so obviously I loved him forever. What?
Well, that was a funny part too of the
I do
story.
love dogs.
That was a funny part too of the story where there actually was an interesting turn in the middle of the story because they have the shit with like Jim Morrison getting bigger, everyone loving him, and he starts like fucking loving the smell of his own farts. That he starts having that like he's not just like a weird hippie, he's like a pretentious hippie now who he's like I'm a rock god.
Yeah.
And then there's this one.
I get it.
I get.
I'm the Leather King.
Which. Even with the I get, we'll come back to that.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, no. I'm just there's such a good point too with the whole I get it shit.
Yeah.
Because all the time where he's like I get it, and then if you notice, whenever he's like on the verge of having to make a good point, he always does something in life to get everything to cause chaos around it.
Yeah.
So like he would be he'd be like drunk yelling into the mic, just kind of rambling, clearly just saying nothing. Like I wrote one thing down.
Yeah.
That he was just screaming into the microphone.
Was that
where
the part where he gets arrested for saying sex on stage or fuck me or whatever it was? What was it? It was like they were just jamming along and he's just going and like just kind of rambling in the fucking thing. And then
was
he
that
goes
at
like,
the club?
I think it was at
because there was at the club where the
whiskey. Was it the whiskey?
Yeah, it was at the whiskey where the club owner like freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
But no,
This is pretty far.
This is when he was like a superstar,
Okay.
and he's just rambling on stage like they were about to play their one hit. He's too drunk to sing it.
Yeah.
He makes them stop playing, so now he can start rambling and all that. And one of the things he says, he goes, Adolf Hitler is alive and well, and he's living in Miami. I fucked her last night. What are you gonna do about it? And you're like, you didn't say anything. And that's like, and around that moment in the movie, he had been rambling for a while. And it's funny, too, because this coincides with a thing where I forget exactly how he said it, but he made a point of like, all of that what was it? Oh yeah, Jim Morrison was good at. Oh yeah, he goes, it's easier to be hated, which that's like a little moment in the movie, but if you kind of like think about that and really like take in the rest of the movie and how he acts, you start to realize you're like, oh yeah, this is a dude who didn't have any substance to him that just figured out he's literally like the Tekashi 6ix9ine of the 60s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
he doesn't have any substance. He just knows how to get people to pay attention to him and come
He's like a
off,
shock jock.
Yeah, and he comes off as whimsical to fucking teenage girls stoned on acid.
Dude, he's not too different from Charlie Manson.
Yeah, and then right when he yells the fucking thing about Hitler, he had like just been rambling for a while, and that's when the cops scoop him up and take him out, and it turns into a whole thing. And it's like, that's what keeps happening throughout the whole fucking movie. He just becomes a problem. He has no fucking substance to anything. And then when people start to catch on, he just causes a fucking mess to happen.
He's a mid-ass fucking Gigi Allen.
And the more
fucking either shit or get off the stage.
Dude, for real. Shitter.
You fucking dickhead.
That fucking rules so hard.
Like but it's the same thing. Like it's just substance abuse and then rambling. And either it's like Animal Attacks Month. Either you just get away with it, or whatever. Even like Val Kilmer apparently in the production of this suggested that he not use they use just the Doors music but take out the vocal track, and he was doing the vocals. So he was.
Did he do the vocals the whole movie?
For like he was mimicking that live to get like the again to be more method essentially.
I was wondering about that,
but apparently like dealt with extreme exhaustion multiple times. I think especially in the Whiskey a Go-Go scene.
Yeah.
Because of like him like
probably hot as
it took like 5 hours or something to shoot, or I can't remember how long it was again.
Yeah.
But it's like something crazy where it's like it's also just like, oh my God, just imagine how hard it is to impersonate a fucking douchebag for 5 hours. How exhausting that is as a professional douchebag.
Yeah.
Like Val Kilmer is like a memo, he's a memo note saying like, hey, this guy's a dickhead. So the end sequence, filming of the band at the end at Whiskey a Go-Go took 5 days. Excuse me. 5 days. Not straight, obviously. But was completely completely exhausted after that. But that was also just the fact of like him being, again, just so like.
Did you see anything about Val Kilmer saying if he liked
over the top.
Jim Morrison or not? Because that line you said before where you're like, it has to be exhausting pretending to be that type of dickhead.
No, it doesn't see. I don't. The only thing about like the only thing I see is like just the fact that a lot of the things were not great as far as like accurate. Like the portrayal of Morrison wasn't great. So some of the Doors members felt the film portrayed Jim Morrison as a violent drunk fool, which they felt was not an accurate representation of him. But again, look at how he died. Like, look at how he lived. Look at how like a lot of his performances. Like when I said I pulled up, I watched a whole it was like a 54-minute set of them live, and it was Beard era.
Yeah, when he's kind of fat.
Yeah, and you're like, and I'm like, look at him, and I'm like, it's like when you see Elvis when he was really bad. You're like, he's still doing a good job, but it's also like he's a mess. Yeah, he's a fucking mess. So it's also like I don't.
It's probably just the Doors getting their boys back.
Yeah, I think that was it. But also, so this is what made me think that too was the part with the imagery of the Nazi shit in the film school. Apparently, that never happened. The guy who his bandmate went to him with to UCLA film school. He said like he didn't have fucking Nazi imagery in his student film. Like he's like that's crazy, but that also might be him being like. I mean, he's saying shit about Nazi like Adolf Hitler's and fucking this. He's like. Yeah. Again, he's just super low budge fucking guar. Like he's just, I'm gonna kill the Pope, and you're like, what? In the '60s, everybody goes, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too. Like
it's this so reminds easy me to be.
Well, this reminds me of all the. There's also there is a good chance he was using Nazi imagery because I have these like 2 books about the formation of punk. One's just called Punk Rock. The other one's called Please Kill Me. Yeah. Which is a sick title, but the book is literally just about fucking bands in the 60s being like, and then we went here and did a bunch of coke. And you're like, okay, what was your mindset writing the songs? They're like, oh, well, we're really bad at instruments, so we didn't really have one. But no, it was like there was a big there was a lot of punk bands or pre-punk bands in like the 60s and 70s that would use Nazi imagery solely for the shock value. Yeah. And if Jim Morrison's a guy who says like, oh, it's easier to be hated and I like to just like make a mess, and he also has this like vapid energy to him, I guess I'll take I guess you got to take his friend's word for it, but it was super believable.
Yeah.
It's super believable that he would do that.
Yeah, I think this is really funny. The accusations, the Kilmer's treatment memos that I talked about earlier, memo circulated among the cast and crew outlining rules on how Kilmer was to be treated, including forbidding people to approach him without good reason, address him by his own name while in character. Like, I'm assuming don't address him by his own name.
Yeah.
And then or stare at him on set, which also is kind of, it's really funny that I think about the shit that like Christian Bale gets and stuff like that. I think we talked about this even last time, of being like, there's a fucking memo saying like, this is essentially what the Steve Harvey one was. If you remember a couple years ago, Steve Harvey had a thing that said like, please, like, I'm just trying to walk through the fucking halls. Please don't stop me. If there's enough fans that are employed at like grips and people that are on set, or like anybody that's just hanging around, like, please can you just not talk to me? I just want to I'm here on work. I'm just doing work. I'll set aside time to do that. Or like,
yeah. And which to me, that is a fair,
this is not that bad.
It's like a fair request. I get how it looks bad.
Yeah.
Having it typed up in a memo.
Yeah.
But honestly too, like if you're Val Kilmer or if you're Steve Harvey, if you're anyone famous and you're like, it's like we're at work. It is like, you could see it being a thing where they're like, hey guys, just so you know, we're at work. Let's not. I know you're all excited to meet Val Kilmer. Let's not try to go up to him every 5 minutes.
Right. Yeah, it's like it makes sense, and especially if he's spending 5 days trying to get this scene right about like this. I mean, again, watching that scene, it's just him fucking going like,
yeah,
and then eventually screaming about sex, and then everybody going like, shut him down. We gotta arrest him because it's the 60s. Like it's like. Who fucking cares?
Oh, we got to arrest him. Why? It's the 60s.
It's the
Get
60s.
him.
Are you crazy? He just said the word sex. It becomes such a weird thing.
I was talking about that shit made me a little mixed because I was like, man, I do miss religious people getting mad about shit.
And that's what I'm saying. I was trying to keep that in context too. It's made in 1991. It's about the 60s. So it's also like this thing of like, but it's like it doesn't explain for the lack of I don't know, biography in the biopic. Like, can we, like, it's called The Doors, but obviously you're centering it about fucking Jim Morrison. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
So explain what's going on with the Indian, what's happening like later on. And then it's just like, then he met Pam, and then he drank, then he performed, then he drank, then he performed. And then it's a lot of things where you're just like, hey, what about like the thing where you're just like, it's the same thing that happens. They're still fucking doing it right in front of us. During Bohemian Rhapsody, where they're just like, oh, we need an anthem for all fans. Well, what about something like this? Boom, 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 boom. And they're just like, roll. We gotta roll. Yeah. This is gonna be great. And then they just nail it on the front, and you're like, it didn't fucking happen.
I know
way.
that they have to like do.
Just like,
I know they have to do slight things like that for the sake of the movie, but I haven't seen Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah,
I've heard about that. I got to imagine that's so fucking retarded to watch.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like when the guy goes, he's like, this is bullshit song. Hey, what about something like this? Come on, baby, light my fire. And they're like, that's perfect.
Bro, it's like...
And it's like, what? And he's like, but the only thing is, could you just take a 2-minute walk on the beach? I have to figure out that extremely complex... The only good part of that song. The fucking keyboard part at the beginning. Like, and they're just like... And they get halfway down the beach and he goes, guys, get back here. I figured it out. And it's just like, guys... Just
straight
get into the nitty gritty of that.
Bro,
like that's bio the pick, bro.
Have you seen Straight Outta Compton?
This is a 3-hour movie, and they're just walking insane for so much of it.
Have you seen Straight Outta Compton?
No, I haven't.
That is.
We're not doing that next. I'm sorry,
bro.
I'm sorry. I'm stepping
no,
on
honestly,
I'm in a mood.
The way you're getting right now, if we watch Straight Outta Compton, you're gonna say the word.
I don't even have a pass.
No, Straight Outta Compton.
I used all my passes.
He used them all up. Straight Outta Compton's real bad for that, dude.
They give me the pass. I go, thanks. Oh, damn it. I just say
That'd be great, dude.
I just say, thanks a lot. Oh, no.
You get an
That
Edward.
doesn't count.
No, dude, you get an Edward pass, and they start to walk away, and you're like, oh, no, I'm using it now.
Yeah. No, you can just take it right back.
No. This is just a formality.
Hey, save me a stamp.
But Straight Outta Compton's real bad for that, where there's like one scene where they're recording at the studio and then they step outside to like smoke a cigarette or whatever the fuck.
Oh, no, I remember you explaining this
And
before,
then like the cops start beating them up,
And they're like-
they'll be like, man, I'm so mad at those police. Fuck those police.
hit record.
Hey, are you ready to record something real quick? And you're like, that's not how it happened.
Hey,
and then
turns out everything's right, and I just have this fresh beat that I've been working on.
And
you're like, oh my god.
The best one is, which by the way, the dude who plays Snoop Dogg in that movie, one of the best impersonations I've ever seen. It was crazy. I forget the dude, but he's like the weird skinny guy in Atlanta. He's in the movie where the black guy is has David Cross's voice.
Yeah.
I forget the guy's name.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
amazing.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
He's amazing and Straight Outta Compton. But there's a scene where he's playing Snoop Dogg, and they're just like playing a beat. It's Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre's getting away from like NWA and shit like that. They're like playing a beat, and then he's just like, hold up, wait a minute. And then he just starts playing. What's the Snoop Dogg song where he goes 1, 2, 3 into the foe? Snoop Dogg. I forget the name of that song. Plays the melody. He's like, wait a minute. Let me mess around real quick. Plays the melody immediately. Yeah. And then Snoop Dogg just goes.
Just don't even bother. Don't even just don't explain how they wrote "Come On, Baby, Light My Fire" because it didn't happen.
And then Snoop Dogg sees that and he goes, oh wait, let me rap something real quick. 1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre. Is that Joe? And I'm like, yeah, it didn't happen. Like,
it didn't happen like that.
You don't need to show us that.
Unless it did. And like that's what I'm saying is unless you can like if we go to all parties involved and they all agree, and then again to me it would just be kayfabe, them just playing along with the bit because of course you want that mystique. And yes, maybe sometimes you're like, I came up with the riff like just playing around my guitar and I was fucking around with it at practice one day. And then Jim started playing along, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually, a couple hours later, like just at least just do the couple. Like if you're going to portray it and you have 3, however long this is, 3.5 hours.
The
4
version
days
I
long.
watched is
4-day long movie.
It's a 10-part Ken Burns miniseries.
Oh, my God. They just kept zooming in on his face.
I think the reason that directors do that is because they're in director mode and they need to make it interesting. Yeah. The reality of it is... Like, to give you a little taste of our Drag the Lake episode, I'm reading about how Slayer wrote Rain and Blood.
Right.
And a lot of the songs, most of the songs were old songs they hadn't used yet.
Yeah.
And then to do the demos, the guitarist would record them and send cassettes to the band. And then the band would... And you're like, that's just fucking boring. That's how
songs are written.
Happens half the time.
It's very boring, so don't make it up.
You don't need to make that the big part of the fucking movie.
Right, and that's what I like. It's so funny because when you watch in something like That Thing You Do, when they're like they come up with the song, the titular song, That Thing You Do, you're like, yeah, that's the reason this is so believable is this is how you've told us every band does this.
Yeah,
that's why this was such a like it. Because honestly, I would have rather I'm gonna start ranking movies better than The Doors. That Thing You Do, I would say 7 stars. The Doors still firmly much lower, probably at 3 stars.
Oh, so
out of a million stars.
Your thing I wanted to get used as a jumping off point because it reminded me of the reason why I enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, is
because you were saying like you're big, and I agree with this where. This movie was clearly set up as to sort of, I don't know exactly actually. It was to sort of express some like symbolic emotion that Jim Morrison was feeling throughout his life or something weird like that. It wasn't a proper biopic to let you know what happened in Jim Morrison's life.
It was
Doors, sort of set up. Yeah. No, I'm not saying.
I'm just saying.
No. I'm saying you're valid for expecting that.
Yeah, okay.
But, like, so clearly you watch the movie and it's more just trying to, I don't know, get you to comprehend Jim Morrison's essence. And, like, but I think, so getting, because I was making fun of it before where in the beginning of the movie you start realizing you're like, Nothing's fucking happening.
Yeah.
It just goes back and forth from live performance. Let's get fucked up. Live performance. We're writing a song.
Hey, I can make you a star, kid.
Yeah.
You know, like
just nothing happens in this fucking
cares?
movie. But then
stop singing
when
about
you
drugs,
weirdos. When you get to the end of the movie, I had this like aha moment, especially at the thing where I was telling you about, where he's like, "I fucked Adolf Hitler, and she's really good at head or whatever."
Yeah.
And you start truly, when they show you it so many times, you start truly comprehending the like lack of substance that's going on here. And I don't know if Oliver Stone did this on purpose or not, but I think he perfectly encapsulated the vapid nature of hippie culture. And
I don't know if that was on purpose or not. Yeah, but
it's an obnoxious movie to get through.
Yeah.
But when you get through, you've truly learned the uselessness and the parasites that are hippies.
Yeah. That's actually really interesting to say. I think that's a really good way to put it too, because it's so crazy, annoying, and stuff like that. But it also could be he's just a diehard Doors fan. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like
that's
there's
what I can't tell.
So many different directors over the years. Like I said, I got the list.
That's the biggest question I have about this movie. I go, were you trying to make him look like a dickhead?
Just imagine a couple of these directors. These were some directors that were there and had flirted or approached about making a Doors biopic over the years. Quentin Tarantino, Francis Ford Coppola, Aaron Russo, Jerry Weintraub, Brian De Palma, Jonathan Taplin, Irving Azoff, and Martin Scorsese, and William Friedkin. I'm sure I'm getting some of those names wrong. They're probably all.
Wait, so they.
But like the ones I recognize from that list are like that. This would be way different.
Yeah.
And a lot of those things, I think the only one that could have probably done this correctly would have been like Scorsese. Tarantino would have been just as annoying as Oliver Stone, in my opinion, because they're very similar. They were really, I think, both close to directing. I think Tarantino wrote American Born Killers, and Oliver Stone directed
Which one?
American Born Killers.
Natural Born Killers.
Natural Born Killers. Sorry. With Woody Harrelson and the broad.
Very good movie. Actually,
movie.
that makes sense because
I know, and that's why I'm saying I normally love Oliver Stone's work, like JFK, American Born Killers. Did I say that again? God damn it! Now I'm in a loop. I am sorry. I am a little bit. What's it called? High, Mr. Stone. I apologize, but that's why I'm like, this feels like such a big stupid miss. Unless, like you said, it's just like no.
No,
I gotta show you how entitled these fucking white motherfuckers.
You saw JFK, right?
Yeah, love it. I own it.
Black guy. I'll never let that big.
Thinking, yeah.
It's so funny.
Hey, I know. Hey,
I think that was a drag the lake bit, but
still St. Pat, my
Black
friend.
guy.
Yeah. It was positive too.
It was super positive.
Yeah.
So you saw JFK.
Yeah.
JFK was very informational. Like if you watch the movie JFK, you run the gamut of all the like major JFK opinions and plot points and shit like that.
You are hit with every single angle that story that exists. Like
but you remember,
and it's not an overload. It is so nicely laid out.
Yeah.
It is so perfectly acted out.
If you watch JFK by Oliver Stone, you'll be able to hold your own in a conversation about JFK.
I don't know if it's that movie or if it's a different movie. I remember something along the lines of like all the scenes that are in like black and white are like speculation, and then the scenes that are in color are proven. Or something like that. Like,
yeah,
so when they
there are a
stuff,
lot. There are a lot of parts to. I don't know what the fuck that was. I wasn't trying to like talk over you. I just was being retarded.
Stanley hypnotized you.
So soft, so pretty. There are a lot of parts in that movie where the lawyer guy is like, he's like, so wait a minute, this and then that, and that is a lot of the black and white scenes.
Yeah.
So in JFK. It was very good, very informational, but you do remember there was this like spacey whimsy to the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And you gotta read. And now I think that could get lost on the Doors movie because it's hippies and it's the '60s and it's acid, but like it had similar energy.
Yeah,
that's why I think I'm like, No, I think, and Oliver Stone was really good at showing you exactly what was good with the JFK shit.
Yeah.
So that makes me think, I'm like, oh no, he's just doing a good job showing you what's good with the Doors, because he doesn't try to make him look like a dickhead, but he doesn't leave out the bad shit.
And
like,
I think that's
where he burned down a chick's house.
Yeah, he's a fucking irresponsible, fucking lush of a okay singer.
Well, that was the best
like
part.
an okay, I think he's a better performer than he is a singer.
That's fair.
Can I say that?
Yeah,
I just did. Sorry.
Well, it's hard to tell too where like Jim Morrison begins or like where the band begins and Jim Morrison ends.
Also, sober, would he even be close to this? Sober, would he be able? Like, and I say this to I'm sure a lot of performers may watch this. There might be, whether you like our band stuff that we talk about or whatever. This is just overall performance wise. It's different. Like his recordings. That's why I said before he got some really good takes. Yeah. He was really well produced in those recordings, but live he might have been hit or miss. I've seen some live footage of like Sublime that was like absolutely fucking garbage.
Yeah,
and then you see other time no,
that's a strong argument.
Genius, whatever. It's just he was right place, right time, right drugs, right state of mind. Oh, now who's writing poetry, motherfucker? I'm the Cat King. That's the sound I make. I play bass. I'm not the front guy. I just play bass. I'm the Cat King. I'm the Cat King. But it's like he was right place, right time. He had enough broads fucking hypnotized with his goddamn hips. It's like Elvis. You watch Elvis now and you're like, what? And they're like, but this is illegal. He's just waving his fucking dick back and forth, singing the Black Guy song.
Well, also
you know what I mean?
Elvis,
Black Guy.
not Black Guy song. And also not taking anything from Elvis, because song. I always defend Elvis when they were like, he stole black music. I go, no, he did it right. He liked it.
Yeah.
It's just,
you know what I mean.
It was the 50s.
Yeah.
So like a black guy was like, you want to see me watch this song? You want to see me play this song? And all the white people went, no.
Yeah.
And then Elvis was like, you want to see me play the song? And they go, absolutely.
They're like, Elvis, don't. Oh. That's what they did. They went, oh.
But yeah, no, even Elvis, it was like, Elvis rules.
Yeah.
But if people weren't as racist, he probably wouldn't be that popular.
Right. He wouldn't have been able to effectively commercialize that.
It's the same thing as like the Ramones getting popular.
Yeah.
They were like, wait a minute. Everyone's playing these songs slow. What if we played them way too fast?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, what? You can do that?
What if we sing about dangerous stuff like sniffing glow?
Yeah.
See?
What if we talk about a brat and how we want to beat on him?
See?
That one was so...
What if we went to high school at 56 years old? rock and roll high school, 47.
High school's boring. What if it was rock and roll?
Remember when you had to walk to school with books on your shoulder with a belt around it? No.
What if we were...
None of us. And you're talking about that in the 80s, you weirdos.
We all dressed like greasers.
But at the time we did.
So funny. I was reading a book about the Ramones, and they're like, yeah, beat on the brat. That was about a kid I didn't like. You're like, wait, you actually... There was like actual inspiration.
It was cool. Yeah, it was cool when it was like a metaphorical brat, but it's like there was a real brat you wanted to beat up.
There's actually a child you were mad at.
Creep. Yeah, sorry, but that's the overall like each one of those, like Iggy Pop is a guy who, like, again, now you see him do his thing. You're like, sir, stop.
Did I tell you my favorite Iggy Pop fun fact? Like, Iggy Pop invented crowd surfing. I go, no, he didn't. You can't invent falling on people, and
they can't overdosing on stage.
You don't invent falling on people and them not dropping you.
Did he do? This might be a stupid question. Did Iggy Pop do drugs? He did, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I really
Before and
I remember
after.
he cut himself and shit like a lot, and I remember, didn't he pass out a couple times because of that?
Oh, he was a huge drug addict.
Okay.
Iggy Pop
that makes a lot of sense.
That book I was reading, Please Kill Me. You read it, you realize, you're like, oh, Iggy Pop would have been an absolute superstar if he just controlled his drug habit.
Yeah.
Like, he got huge, but he would be a legitimate mainstream superstar if he could just because he was like ahead of his time on shit. Like, he was in like the 60s and 70s, like wearing dresses on stage and doing the like androgynous or like gender, not androgynous, like the gender bending stuff. Like I joke, but like he was one of the, like, you know, he's being rowdy at shows and crowd surfing. Like he was doing all this crazy shit. He was like yelling during his songs. Like he was ahead of his time on a lot of things, but he was just like, yeah, man, I just love heroin, man.
Yeah, and like that's the thing is like with Jim Morrison, it's a lot of times it's most artists are so like they're so strung out from being away from their family for so long, like or going to a new town each night, doing another full, giving your all on stage every night, and then you end up replacing that, and then you start like self-medicating with substances. Before they're even big, he's like, I need at least 4 or 5 pops before I fucking even turn my back around to the bank. Like they're like turn around, and he's like, I'm
so scared. I'm so scared.
But then he's just like takes his little fucking tab of drugs, and he's just like and then like so like it was never Jim Morrison. It was always the drugs. It was always that. So that's why when I say stuff like, oh, you know, he had a couple good takes or whatever, in right place, right time. He just was abusing the correct substances in the correct town at the right time. And just because like everything else, like his lyrics are fucking babble. They're babble. They're babbling bullshit. Like, yes, it's cool that some of them rhyme. It's cool that some of them that don't. It's cool that they're talking about death and shit or whatever.
Well,
but it's also like there's billions of people, especially at that time, doing those drugs, saying those fucking words. You could just switch him out with literally anybody.
Dude, and also
literally anybody, and that band is just as successful, in my opinion.
It was a shame too.
From my takeaway,
it was a shit.
Sorry,
and that's how I feel.
Sorry, I just.
And those are the words I said.
Like because I also did some research on like the Doors. The band, and I was like the band. Like I said, the band's great. It's like, but like sorry. But him, it's just like anybody could be there.
It's such a stupid joke in my head.
What?
You're just at Home Depot, looking at.
I'm like going to a Jehovah's Witness thing. I'm like, hey, what do you guys know?
Like, do you need any help, sir? You're like, oh, I'm doing research for a podcast.
It's a podcast.
It's a podcast thing.
So Jim Morrison, which one of these is Jim Morrison?
No, you were saying about the band. That was the other part about the whole fucking thing. Is I was like there were little things too. Oh, from a production standpoint, as a drummer, I really appreciated that the guy who played the drummer played all the drum parts. That was really cool.
And when he was like actually hitting, they were. I didn't see any mention of that in the thing.
Yeah,
but Val Kilmer did his vocal tracks, but I think they all knew at least and not the keyboard guy, obviously.
Yeah,
because the keyboard guy was just going.
Yeah, but I was like watching that as a musician. I really wish they would have like gone into shit about the band more because like the drummer, I forgot about this. There was like actually a decent like Latin influence on the drumming parts. You forget they didn't have a bassist, so that's why their sound is so unique and spacey. Is their bass parts are covered by a keyboard.
Yeah,
and guitarist was really good. It was I was like. There's a lot of cool shit with that band that they could have kind of like gotten into. But like I said before, if the intent of this movie was to give you a very clear sort of vision on what what the king of the hippies was, it did its job.
Yeah, there's apparently a missing scene as well. Apparently, Oliver Stone noted on Facebook that he cut a 3-minute scene near the end of the film, which this is the thing, which he regretted, as it left a hole in the story. You're telling three? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not explained, but this is the weird part. Studio Canal in France controls the rights to the film and is beginning the process of checking the SVOD and digital platforms to make sure the theatrical cut is available, and where only one version is available, swapping out the final cut for the theatrical cut. So like I guess they want the theatrical cut everywhere. I think that's what that is.
Okay.
But
wait, who's this? The studio?
Yeah, Studio Canal. So it's apparently there's a 3-minute scene that Oliver Stone says will really tie the story together. Apparently, and like I'm just like do you think there was 3
Just
minutes
Jim
that would help that?
Morrison. Just Jim Morrison talking to aliens, going, "Thanks for writing me these songs."
Yeah, thanks a lot for everything. You know what I mean? Like there's no real. It got me more interested in the band, and I'm like, yeah, the band has so many great songs. I would say not maybe another right place, right time thing, but like his weird hippie thing matched up with a lot of people's hippie things. But the story itself, this story, I feel like I didn't learn a goddamn thing about them. And it was just so fucking. It's weird for Oliver Stone to do essentially a Bohemian Rhapsody for the Doors. You know?
Yeah, the Jim. Also, too, the big thing I hated too was just like the Jim. It always just fascinates me how people like that sort of get popular and get people's love and admiration. I do think it stems from like normal people's urge to care for and fix someone.
Yeah.
Where like Jim Morrison, like that was the most irritating part about Jim Morrison is I go, because people like him, I go, you like, because he always had that like spacey, like he and I just wander around and things just end up happening for me.
Yeah.
I think I always look at those people and I go, oh, you're only able, the reason they irritate me so much is I go, you're only able to exist at the expense of others' hard work and attentiveness.
Yeah.
And that's just like, that's like the thing I learned from watching this movie is like those people like him you have to like let him fail, because now a huge component of it was the fact that he can make people so much money, but you look, his problems only get worse and worse and worse because everyone figures out a way to like cover for him and shit like that, and it's like
enabling his behaviors.
Yeah, people like that, it's you know, sometimes it's money. Sometimes they have this mystique that they trick people into thinking it's almost like a fucking cult leader, like, and that goes back to the comparison to like Charles Manson. Yeah. They're good at tricking people into thinking they're a godlike figure bigger than they actually are, and those people, and you miss the fact that their existence is a very like leechy existence. Actually, to compare it to, this is the thing, I just remembered this, to compare it to Charles Manson, because one of my big sticking points on Manson, and it sort of coincides with the whole like MK Ultra CIA connection, where they were like probably giving him a bunch of acid and shit. Everyone always goes, they're like, you know, oh, well, back in the day, here's the thing. Back in the day, Charles Manson read fucking How to Influence Friends and Convince People, whatever the fucking book is called. They're like, he was just so convincing. And then you just like watch this movie and you're like, yeah, I don't know how convincing you need to be when you have acid and you're trying
giving people
to,
acid.
You're trying to convince, oh, you know what's super? You know who are the hardest to convince of shit? Drugged out teenage girls. Yeah. And it's like you saw it with the Jim Morrison shit, where it's like people were just throwing themselves at him
with his back turned to them. They were woo, woo, and then as soon as they turned around, they lost their shit. And you're like, if that's at all how that happened, that's the most believable part of these like recreations. Is that, and it's just like it's just so cartoonish for being. I don't know. It just me, I really did not like this. But I'm okay if you want to continue doing movies. But I'm fine if you pick, or if you want to go into Celebrity Death Month.
No, I know you were excited about Celebrity Death Month, so we
could start with Jim Morrison.
Yeah, I'm definitely good. I'm definitely good for like bobbing and weaving into different topics every month. We don't have to just stay on movies. But I would like to talk about Jim Morrison one more time, because I know you mentioned him for Celebrity Death Month, because there is that. I told you there's that conspiracy element, and I would like to look into it, because I was actually so this actually coincides with the last point I wanted to make about this movie, so did you make it to the point where Jim Morrison, you know that like one reporter that he ended up starting to fuck?
Yeah. Did
you make it to the point where they were backstage and then the cop ended up pepper spraying him?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So it's funny, because this was actually the scene where I started to like realize, I think the movie, in the context of like where my head's at, I think the movie's a little more self-aware than I gave it credit for.
Okay, yeah.
So if you watch the scene, Jim Morrison, they're supposed to be playing. He's backstage with the reporter I said earlier that he's fucking.
Yeah.
And if you notice their body language, they go into this backstage shower area. He gets behind her, clearly wants to start fucking her, and she just starts going like, "You trying to fuck me? You trying to fuck me?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then you see his hands go down, da da da. And then she throws out this thing, about what did she say? Oh, yeah, she's like, "You want to tell me why you lied to me?" And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Your father's not dead." And he's like, "Yeah, he is." And he's like, "Well, who picked up when I called your house?" And then she starts telling him, like, "Why'd you lie to me about your whole family?" And they actually throw out, and this coincides with the conspiracy thing, a lot of people think Jim Morrison was like CIA plan or something. Maybe not at that level, but to some degree, because people don't know, Jim Morrison's father was like high up in like the Navy or some shit, and he had a very significant role in the Gulf of Tonkin.
Wow.
Yeah, a very significant
that makes
role.
so much sense. So that makes sense why Oliver Stone would direct this.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't make sense otherwise. I'm like,
Yeah.
he's not going to make a Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
But like if there's that, so yeah, so that's the perfect first for Celebrity Death Month.
Oh, but so here, wait.
Sorry,
There's
yeah.
a little. No, you're good. There's a little. Yeah, I think so too. Because I also found
That's really interesting.
I also forgot I have a biography of Jim Morrison, so I would also like an excuse to read that.
There we go. I like it.
But yeah, so she starts bringing all this stuff up. She starts going, "You lied to me, da da da." But she's being like, I have the upper hand. So she's being coy. And like the second she says that, Jim Morrison gets all like fucking gay, and he like leans up on the wall, and he's just like, "Why are you doing this to me?"
Come on, baby, don't call me a liar.
So he's all up on the wall, just like, "Why are you doing this to me?" And then she comes up behind him, basically in the same position when he was earlier being like, "I'm gonna fuck you," and now she's behind him. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that represents like, oh, the tables have turned. I wonder if that was a subtle way of exposing Jim Morrison as a fraud.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
because the all the Manson stuff made a lot of sense too, and it also kind of makes sense. I was talking to my tie-dye guy today, and
I love that you have that.
Yeah, and I was
I'm so happy you have a tie-dye guy.
I was talking to him today, and we were talking about essentially how like people nowadays. He said in Texas, like doesn't matter.
Tie-dye guy, which designs do ketchup stains not show up on?
Andy, don't be ridiculous. We're talking about Texas law and legislation. So me and my tie-dye guy were talking about legislation in Texas, and apparently there's a thing where no matter the crime, if you're in jail for 60 days, or I think he said 30 or 60 days, some amount of time, and you have not been given a court date yet or have not had a court date yet, they just let you out, no matter the crime. So there's a violent offender. He said he's been attacked by this guy downtown a couple times, and he believes it's in the same vein as similar to the Charlie Manson thing of like, we're not interfering necessarily, but that's exactly how we're implementing this in certain places as this is control. There's an organization that apparently could possibly be giving these homeless people drugs that are attributing to their mental illness.
Well, they give them fucking
attacks.
tents.
So it's like one of those things where you're like, holy shit, they're doing it right in front of us. They're doing it right in front of us. So
yeah, that was a big thing with
this Jim Morrison angle of the CIA also.
It's a big thing with Manson. He would get arrested all the time, but someone would put their get in the right person's ear and just be like, let him out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all the new information about the JFK shit coming out with the CIA and everything, and we're like, it's just like it goes to all of the.
Have you dug into any of the JFK stuff?
I honestly, it's kind of like in the same vein as like, even though it happened in the 60s, it's just really frustrating to know the thing we came across in this spare room of my apartment. Do you know what I'm saying? Like these two fat idiots are going like, hey man, it seems like anytime there's a cover
What's
up,
the heckin' deal?
The government just doesn't really even try, and they just kind of go, no, it's not that. Case closed. Well, it's here's the official thing, the magic bullet, blah blah blah, and then you go back at the records that they kept. They kept the records, and there's like, oh yeah, there's actually apparently like, again, I have not done a deep dive into it, but from what I'm seeing reported is the allegations of the CIA being involved are absolutely true, and apparently not only involved but are like essentially orchestrated a coup. I don't know all of the individuals involved, but it's,
I've been seeing
I think
people.
the missing frame thing that people talk about with the Secret Service guy up front.
Yeah.
That I have not seen any legitimacy to that yet necessarily, but could be the most plausible of the ideas of like somebody shoot over here, everybody's looking over here, but bam, oh look at that, oh my god, gotta go. You know what I mean? Like
I've been seeing a lot of.
and they're like slow down. He's like what? Gun went right by his ear.
I've been seeing a lot of. I've been seeing a lot of theories. They're all very interesting. I'm not an expert on any of them, so I'm just kind of like
a lot of.
I'm not making a declarative statement or whatever.
No,
but like I know a lot of people float out before he got assassinated. Israel was like, don't worry, we're not going to make nuclear weapons. And then they started making nuclear weapons, which, and I'm just noticing things. Like I've said it before.
We're just noticers.
I'm just really good at noticing.
Just noticing
which
things.
Israel always is like, dude, Iran's making nuclear weapons. Oh, they're doing that. But it's like, you guys, the last time you guys made nuclear weapons, our fucking president got shot. It's just weird timing. So there's like that. There's like the whole Gulf of Tonkin where, because the thing, or not, I'm sorry, not Gulf of Tonkin, the Bay of Pigs, which was basically like the government, the military was like, yeah, we want to do it this way. JFK was like, I don't know if we should do all that. Yeah. And then they botched that. And then they were like, oh, this guy's actually not going to listen to us.
Yeah.
We should probably, get him to help.
We should take care of it, hypothetically. Yeah. And that's the thing, is like, it's really, it's crazy that is, it's not crazy because we see America and other countries doing that. Mainly America going into other countries doing that and like saying, hey, we're going to take out your leader, then we're going to put this, we're going to install this guy. And it's like the same thing happened, and then Vietnam went off. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it just like, it's like one of those things. And then you see Vietnam being like, everybody's like, whoa, what the fuck? Why'd we do that? But again, we're just moving on. We're just like, yeah, we're not going to talk about the whole JFK thing. We're just going to go like, man, that crazy war, huh?
Dude, and that's the funniest thing from Ben. Here, you got to listen to this. Ben Shapiro is adorable. He's such a fun guy. This is so funny.
Popular on the right. There's conspiracy theorizing that's become incredibly popular on the right these days. It was popular on the left, and now it's become increasingly popular on the right. The kind of, let's just ask questions. We'll ask, who really killed JFK? Wink, wink, nod, nod. And then you're like, well, do you have any evidence of the thing that you are presupposing? Well, no, I'm not making any accusations. I just know I don't believe the story that I'm being told. I know not to trust the authorities. Like, well, that's fine, but do you have like any evidence? Like evidence, not just supposition. I said, well, you're part of it, aren't you? You're part of it. The reason that you're so defensive about all this is, I don't care who killed JFK. I mean, I do, because it's really interesting, but I noticed that the calendar says 2025, and he was killed in 1963. And so my opinion about who killed JFK has about as much relevance as who killed William McKinley, or James Garfield, which is to say, not an enormous amount.
Well, you want to know.
Who would care? The guy who, whenever he gives his pro-Israel arguments, literally brings up the Bible, literally brings up biblical times of why Israel's owed that land, is going like, why would I care who assassinated Kennedy? It happened like 50, 60
like
years
fucking 50 years
You're
ago.
Like, oh, actually, the answer to that question will change all of our perceptions of reality.
Right. So it's just a thing where you're like you're watching this and you're going like all of these things are everybody's it's involved, like it's like all the people involved. It's been fun speculating over the years, but like now, like just knowing like they just lie and then continue to function
like that
through the whole time.
I think Ben Shapiro is like wrong about a lot, but he's not a dumb guy. And you're like, dude, you're just...
That kind of sounded AI-y to me, but I understand that was a clip of him.
It's from his show.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it might be clipped that way for
He also sounds like a robot.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, it's just him, yeah. He is kind of a robot.
He has less human emotions than Data.
So we'll ease back into the conspiracy side of it again with Jim Morrison, the first celebrity of Celebrity Death Month. The other one I had was Marilyn Monroe. I think,
and that's a good conspiracy one.
That's a good connection.
I was gonna bring that one up because that's one I've been wanting to research because it's so interesting.
Yeah, and
it's like it's one of those where you watch it and you go, it's obviously the mob. but it's hard. It's really hard to prove it's
I was
the mob.
leaning that way towards, and it might have just been the movie The Irishman. I was leaning that way towards
The director killed her?
the mob killed JFK. Like that. That's
the
what I was
mob?
thinking. Yeah.
Well, so that was another funny one about JFK, and I don't know what this means, but I saw like a pro-Israel guy being like, "Oh, everyone's trying to say Israel killed JFK." Well, there's whatever 1,000 mentions of the KGB, and there's only 2 of Israel, and it's like,
Yeah, but
you think
the
if
mentions of
Israel did
Israel
it,
were
they'd-
bang and bang.
yeah, if Israel. Well, also the KGB shit is about Oswald going there.
Yeah.
That and like the KGB was like, the fuck he wants to be here for?
Yeah.
And so they were like on his ass.
And then the whole cover-up thing being like, there's still video of Oswald just being like, I don't know why I'm here. I'm just a patsy, like kind of bullshit, like saying this thing. And like,
Yeah.
he starts explaining it and everybody's like, what's this wacko talking about? It's just like,
this wacky
it's
little
just like a
guy?
weird thing of like, of course they roughed you up. You shot the president, you weirdo. I know it's not that. It's not the 20s, but still. So yeah, Celebrity Death Month next. We really fizzled out with movie month. I hated this fucking movie so much.
I don't think we fizzled out at all. I thought this episode was fantastic.
This was a great episode, but the movie even with the productions being weird, the outcomes being odd. Like we did Waterworld. That's not everybody's favorite. We did Island of Dr. Moreau. That's not everyone's favorite. Apocalypse Now, award-winning, crazy, like great.
I mean,
this one
probably one of the best movies ever.
right. And this, and also, like I actually watched it a couple times. That was
Apocalypse
something
Now?
I watched. So the amount of times I watched, and the second one was longer.
Like, Dom walks in 3 times. She calls Apocalypse again.
Yeah, so that'll be next month or next week. We're gonna do.
Pat just busted. That's why he's kind of relaxed.
I'm just sleepy now.
Um,
Could you make me some? Pizza?
well, wait. Let me ask
Make
you.
me some pizza rolls real quick.
I thought you said pancake. I've been crushing pancakes like for the past 3 weeks.
That's it.
Protein. All right, buddy. All right.
Sorry. Hey, look. If you lob it up, I'm not gonna bring it up. But if you lob one, I'm gonna knock it out.
Yeah, no.
I expect you to do the same. If I go, I'm looking, and you go, where? In the fridge. I'd be like, damn, I got.
No, you don't understand, dude. They're protein pancakes.
Are those
and
good?
And then I put, dude. I've been getting, bro.
Like either good for you and or
Aldi's-
delicious.
Aldi's needs to hire me.
Really, they do.
I love them so much because,
Yeah.
dude, they got these protein.
Have you applied?
What?
Have you applied?
I'm thinking about it.
I want to be a cashier. They won't fucking let me.
No, their cashiers are no nonsense.
Yeah.
Which there's like a running joke on Twitter where like,
No, Mr. Andy, there's too many pancakes.
oh, Mr. Andy.
No, Mr. Andy, there's too many
Mr.
pancakes.
Andy, you broke the pancake limb. Actually, dude, the Aldi's I go to, very multicultural.
Okay.
And a lot of the women,
Hey, Mr. Andy.
oh, Mr. Andy, another pack of pancakes.
Oh, Mr. Andy.
Oh, Mr. Andy.
I was-
Why you do so many? I only know the racist
I didn't know what
ones.
that one was.
Sleepy Mexican.
Oh, shit. We back to... okay, sorry.
I only know the
I was going
racist
to let you know I
ones.
ran out of accents. If it's like, what's it? Ooh, Andy, yeah.
Oh, Andy. Well, add a little bit of this cream into your pancakes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. To the top.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm going to kill myself. And yourself. Sorry, you're talking about they need to hire you because you ate all
what
their
is
pancakes?
oh, we're not doing more impressions?
No, we're going back into the pancake talk. Let's get back into serious talk.
I was doing Jim Morrison at Aldi's.
What is even point of pans? It's like, nah, the cake.
Where can I fucking throw up,
What is it, your birthday? Happy birthday, consumerism.
I spend most of my life dehydrated, probably.
That really bothers me because I
Can
think
I
that means.
can I borrow a quarter?
Aldi's.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the cart thing earlier. I was gonna say you collect the quarters at the carts, but I couldn't remember if that was Aldi's or not. That was the one where you put it in there.
I was being a creep at my Aldi's because there is a Asian lady there that her shape looks very similar to an Asian lady on Instagram who's a little bit of a whore.
What are you, a fan?
Yeah. Yes.
What do you like her?
I'm a masturbator of hers.
I'm a masturbator fan.
No, there was so the girl on Instagram, whenever she records her things, like you see her whole body, but she like covers her face. And I'm telling you, this Asian chick had like a very similar frame to her and like height and everything. And I was like, no fucking way.
So you started following her.
No fucking way. Around the store.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And then there's like a randomly like jacked hot blonde lady there. And there's like, it's a very attractive Aldi's. But yeah, dude, they got this like protein pancake mix. It's like $4. And then like when I go to HEB to get all of Steph's fancy shit, all the protein pancakes there are like $6-7. I go, I love Aldi's. Give me money.
Come on. And pancakes.
Give me a job.
What kind of syrup you use with that?
Sure. Well, that's where they get you.
Protein syrup.
There's
It's just cum.
no. I use the fucking what is
Icing.
it? Dude, have you seen? There's like Fruity Pebbles syrup and shit like that.
Yeah, I've seen that. The red. It's red.
Dude, I remember seeing that being like this. The CIA hates poor people.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I was like, this is nothing but red dye.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Why would any like some of this shit? It's like when you see like the Boston Mechanics, and they're like, oh, we put a gun on the robot dog.
Yeah.
And you're like, there's a huge anti-human contingency in this world that we do not acknowledge enough.
Oh, we set it to just update itself. Like, no.
Yeah.
Keep controlling that part, please.
Yeah, no, you
Keep an eye on that.
didn't have to put a gun on the dog.
Yeah.
You didn't need to make Fruity Pebbles syrup.
Yeah.
There's all these different ones, and it's just like
Already a sweet treat. It doesn't need improving.
it's. I think Satan is much more prevalent in our culture than we realize.
We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it with. We're gonna find out how much Jim Morrison was eating Fruity Pebbles syrup when he died in that bathtub.
That's why he died.
Fucking weirdo.
Anaphylactic shock. No, isn't that with bees?
Yeah,
I
but
know
that's-
stuff.
It's the same thing.
I know a lot of stuff.
Yeah. We did double research. This
Last
week, guys.
one?
What?
Last pancake info.
Yeah.
I had a pretty quality dad joke on this one.
Okay.
Well, I was looking at the pancakes, and I saw they got Dolly Parton pancakes. I go, why is she selling pancakes? Shouldn't be selling melons. Like and subscribe. See you next week, guys.